Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for whenever you end up watching this video. Uh, Softball was painful today. I don't know, the terms old man and, slow, not really like physically slow, but just like not being able to do what I used to be able to do have definitely caught up to me a little bit. But I think it's just because of lack of stretching, honestly. So I'm not too bad. Just a lot of things that I feel like I may have pulled them, but we have about 2 weeks until our next game, so a lot of time to rest up, which I plan to do with the fiance who's coming to visit this weekend. But for us going through the Bible today, we're finishing chapter 14 already, which I believe is just over the halfway mark. I think this is officially the start of maybe the second half of Leviticus. Maybe not. Don't quote me. But we have verses 33 through 57 for chapter 14. And just like we had cleansing from defiling skin diseases, today we have cleansing from defiling molds. So, yeah, I already ate. I got ahead of it this time. I ate dinner, so now I'm all good. I shaved, I showered, I'm ready to go. All right. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "When you enter the land of Canaan, which I am giving you as your possession, and I put a spreading mold in a house in that land, the owner of the house must go and tell the priest, I have seen something that looks like a defiling mold in my house." So he's saying, like, the Lord is saying that he's going to put a spreading mold. So there's, interesting that he's saying that he's going to do it. The priest is to order the house to be emptied before he goes in to examine the mold, so that nothing in the house will be pronounced unclean. After this, the priest is to go in and inspect the house. He is to examine the mold on the walls, and if it has greenish or reddish depressions that appear to be deeper than the surface of the wall, the priest shall go out the doorway of the house and close it up for 7 days. On the seventh day, the priest shall return to inspect the house. If the mold has spread on the walls, he is to order that the contaminated stones be torn out and thrown into an unclean place outside the town. He must have all the inside walls of the house scraped, and the material that is scraped off dumped into an unclean place outside the town. Then they are to take the other stones to replace these and take new clay and plaster the house. If the defiling mold reappears in the house after the stones have been torn out and the house scraped and plastered, the priest is to go and examine it, and if the mold has spread in the house, it is a persistent defiling mold. The house is unclean. It must be torn down, its stones, timbers, and all the plaster, and taken out of the town to an unclean place. Anyone who goes into the house while it is closed up will be unclean till evening. Anyone who sleeps or eats in the house must wash their clothes. Excuse me. But if the priest comes to examine it, and the mold has not spread after the house has been plastered, he shall pronounce the house clean, because the defiling mold is gone. To purify the house, he is to take 2 birds and some cedar wood, scarlet yarn, and hyssop. He shall kill one of the birds over fresh water in a clay pot. Then he is to take the cedar wood, the hyssop, the scarlet yarn, and the live bird, dip them into the blood of the dead bird in the fresh water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. He shall purify the house with the bird's blood, the fresh water, the live bird, the cedar wood, the hyssop, and the scarlet yarn. Then he is to release the live bird in the open field outside the town. In this way he will make atonement for the house, and it will be clean. These are the regulations for any defiling skin disease, for a sore, for defiling molds in fabric or in a house, and for a swelling, a rash, or a shiny spot to determine whether something is clean or unclean. These are the regulations for defiling skin diseases and defiling molds. So there you go. We have how to determine if it's a defiling skin disease or mold, and what to do to not necessarily cure it, but the proper steps of what to do with it. We have a lot of the same thing with the cedar wood, the birds, the hyssop, scarlet yarn that we read about yesterday. So that theme kind of stayed together. And it sounds like this might be the. Yeah, we might have one more video tomorrow that might be a little iffy on the stomach, but hopefully we're coming out of this part of it for right now, because I like to enjoy a little snack before I go to bed, and sometimes that snack is affected by what I read. So, no. In all honesty, it's not. I don't think this is too bad. The Bible is real. It's gonna have some real themes and material to it. So we just got to do our best to read through it. All right. Hope your stomach made it through, and I will see you again tomorrow morning.